Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Timber Creek Band Program's virtual parent meeting. We would typically have something like this in the media center at the school in the first couple of weeks after the school year has started. And we've held off a little bit as we're kind of adjusting to the start of a very different school year. And we wanted to, though, take an opportunity still to say hello to everybody and just introduce ourselves to some of the parents who may not know us, and also just to address a few things that we feel like we do know and things that we can talk about. So those of you who don't know me, my name is Rhett Cox, and had the good fortune to be at Timber Creek since it opened, and just feel very, very lucky to be a part of such an amazing community. So move it over to Mr. Hoey.
Hi, I'm Mr. Hoey. I teach the jazz band and symphonic band. If you guys do not know me, if you're new here, I've been making a lot of appearances in most of the classes lately. So freshman band, getting used to Mr. Hoey's giant head. Pretty fun. I've been here since 2006. Is that accurate, Mr. Cox?
It is. Yes, you're 15, I believe, for you. Yeah.
Oof. I play tuba, and I'm married to this beautiful lady over here. This is Mrs. Katie Hoey.
Hello, I'm Katie Hoey. I'm attached to that one over there. I primarily teach the freshman band. I have been at Timber Creek as a director for, this is my 4th year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, wow. And previous to that, I was at Avalon Middle School and taught middle school band for 12 years. So I primarily with the freshman band, since those are the ones that I am closest to. And so the freshman students will see me most of the time for their class. And I will hand it last, but certainly not least, to Mr. Tirado.
Hi, everyone. Mr. Tirado here. I'm actually in the same boat as Mrs. Hoey in that it's my 4th year also here at Timber Creek. A lot of your percussion students have been working closely with me as when I was brought on. I have been exclusively working with our percussion program, which has been super, super fun. And a couple of your students, especially the freshmen coming over from Avalon, I got the opportunity to work with them a year or two ago and was also helping out there. So I'm really excited to see those students making the transition over here. So really, really excited about this year. And I think one of the fun things that I always like to state to everyone is that I am actually an alumni. So Mr. Cox was my band director. So I'm so excited to obviously be back home and be working with everyone. And it's just a blast. Love it here.
So we're going to, like I said, we're just going to kind of go around and talk about a few things with regards to the program, give you guys updates on a couple of things as we move forward here, and just try and give you kind of a broad overview of where things stand. And we're going to try and do this in the next 15 or 20 minutes or so, and then try and keep it as succinct as we can. So Mr. Trotto is going to talk about, he's going to do a quick overview of our Summer Institute, our summer program that we had.
So our Summer Institute, fantastic job to everyone this past summer on completing a lot of the assignments. We actually had a majority of the students staying on and participating and turning in videos. Huge success and a good overview for what was going to be happening at the start of the school year, as your students have been able to see. So if they were involved over the summer, they got a chance to really be able to understand how to do video assignments and turning that in. And that has been a core part of our program for the last number of years, and especially at the start of this year, it has been super beneficial. So I can't thank you all enough. The community has been so receptive to being a part of all of that. And that is exactly like our image here at Timber Creek, is this individual accountability and being super excited about playing music once again, and for all of us to be able to see it. And so I'm just really, really happy about how the summer turned out with everyone turning in videos and getting that going. And again, thank you to everyone that participated. Our staff really enjoyed it. And they had a blast being able to help you and work with you. And they're excited to be coming back on to continue that for the future of this year. So that got all of our students a little bit more acquainted. And that's something that we pride ourselves here at Timber Creek, where band students come onto campus already knowing other band students and knowing one another. So That's something very, very special that I loved about the Summer Institute. So congratulations to everyone. Just a fantastic job. We really enjoyed it.
Thank you, Mr. Trotto. So we want to talk next about the start of this school year and the hybrid model that OCPS has our county in with launch ed students and face-to-face students, and just so that you understand kind of how the band program is addressing that. So just so that you're aware, the band program percentage of launch ed students and face-to-face students is about 80-20. The school percentage is a little bit lower than that. School's a little bit more like 70-30, somewhere in there. But the band is a little bit higher than that. So about 80% of our band program students are doing launch ed at home, and 20% of our students are face-to-face. And so as we looked at that, one of our continued concerns about the return to campus model is the safety of the students. The challenge of being in the band room, which is a decent sized space if we had no coronavirus restrictions and guidelines from the CDC and scientific studies that have been done about the aerosol dispersion of instruments. If we weren't in that scenario, then the band room it's a good size space for us to rehearse, and it serves us well. The issue is that room in the current climate that we're in. It's very, very limiting in how many students we can have in there and how many we can have in there safely. Dr. Padawano gave us permission to use the Performing Arts Center, which is, I've got to imagine we could fit like 10 band rooms in there. It seats 850, and that doesn't take into account the 30 and 40 foot ceilings in there, and obviously all the space on stage and everything as well. So it was important to the directors that we kept the students as safe as possible by keeping them as far apart as possible. And because of the success of the Summer Institute, we wanted to start the school year maintaining that same momentum that we had from this summer, which is essentially virtual instruction that comes from our homes as directors to the students on their laptops. So whether a student is face-to-face sitting in our Performing Arts Center, or whether they're at home, everybody should be doing the same thing at the same time, which is when the start of their class period. So for example, if you're a second period symphonic band student and your class begins at 8:20 in the morning, which it does, right? So the laptop should go up, and then whether you're at school or whether you're at home, then instruction comes in to that point from a director who is probably at home, or possibly on campus, but kind of sequestered away from the kids. And everybody's getting the same instruction, just like it was over the summer. And there's the consistency and the continuity of that. Everybody gets the same information at the same time, under the same parameters. Any assignments that are given in those classes and in those ensembles, symphonic band, freshman band, wind ensemble, jazz band, percussion ensemble, any of those groups, those assignments are homework, just like they would have been if we had been if we were all on campus and it was all face-to-face, like a normal situation. Our students would still be doing videos, but they would be doing those outside of the school day. They wouldn't be doing them during our band rehearsals. So we would be having band rehearsal potentially, but then our assignments are things that are done outside of school. It's homework, just like any other class in that aspect. And so we've adopted, for the first 9 weeks here, we've adopted this version where number one, we feel like we can keep your kids safer when they're our responsibility in the band program. The face-to-face students we can keep safer in the Performing Arts Center. The instruction, because 80% of our students are launch ed, we can still we can instruct to not only that 80%, but then of course you add everybody with the face-to-face with the same type of instruction, the way we're doing it right now. And it gives us an opportunity to be as consistent as possible. Everybody gets the same instruction at the same time. And then the expectations for assignments and videos and things that get turned in are, those are things that happen outside of the class period. Whether you're an at-home student doing launch ed, or whether you're a student in the PAC with face-to-face. And, obviously we're going to kind of evaluate and address things probably generally every 9 weeks. We think the county probably will as well. So, but this is certainly the model that we've adopted, and we feel we can offer the most consistent, highest level of instruction in this capacity, and we can do it while keeping your students safe. So Mr. Hoey's going to talk for a few minutes about the actual curriculum for the first quarter here.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Cox. Yeah, the highest level instruction possible is kind of what we're trying to go for. This is a difficult time, and the scale of our program has changed so very much. And we've done quite a bit of thinking and trying to figure out what scale we can run. Obviously, before, this time of year was very busy for us, and we were doing multiple after-school rehearsals a week, and every Friday night for 11 weeks in a row was chock full, and then weekends as well. Every other weekend kind of used to be full. So right now what we're trying to figure out is, we're trying to talk to the students every day, and we're trying to learn how much capacity we think they have for doing assignments. In the spring, we were instructed to only give so many assignments and this and what, but now we're trying to figure out exactly how far we can push people. And this summer, thanks to the success of the Summer Institute, we learned a lot of lessons. Yeah. And if you talk to other teachers and you talk to other people that are in the field, boots on the ground every day, we all feel like we're kind of first year teachers again, because we're having to learn to teach through this medium. I mean, this meeting right now is much different than things we've done for a very long time. I feel very confident that the stuff that we have on the horizon, we're working to kind of get things brought up online. Sorry for the double meeting there. Right now, there's a program called Smart Music. It's an interface that basically is guided practice that gives your students immediate feedback. We're working on getting the PO signed by the principal to get that done. Dr. Padawana has been extremely successful, or extremely supportive of us and anything we're trying to do right now. So we can't say enough nice things about her. As for what we're doing in classes right now, we're able to do play along stuff with your students synchronously, where we provide a background track for them to play along with. So if your student is not playing their instrument during class, they're not fulfilling their obligations. So they need to have their instrument out every single day. And I would say 4 out of 5 days a week. Sometimes we're just doing straight instruction, but most of the time it's very important to play your instrument every single day. And between that and we're going to start this next week, we're hoping to get our staff back online to do individualized sectionals with them. So there'll be pull-out sectionals for just the flutes or just the clarinets or just the brass section or just the mellophone section or just the mallet players for the percussion side coming up, and to be able to do a sectional every single week, which is something we did before. But again, we're trying to figure out how and when to fit that in. That's something we're actively working on for the very near-term future to make this first 9 weeks as successful as possible. As Mr. Cox said, as for the second 9 weeks and what comes then, we enacted this plan when we didn't know, how safe or how dangerous or what guidance we were going to be given. I feel confident, especially in Mr. Cox's leadership and through this whole thing, you'll notice that we haven't communicated a ton to you. And that's kind of been by design, because we keep waiting until we're going to know something for sure. And I'm sure, just like all of us have been through this, finding something that for sure is really, really difficult right now. So if you're a little frustrated with kind of a lack of communication from us, that's why that's been going on. And it's not because we haven't been meeting. I've been to more faculty meetings and more director meetings in the last 6 months than I have in my 15, 16-year career. This group of directors that you see on the screen right now, we met, I'm going to say exhaustively, and I hope they don't take that the wrong way, over the summer. I mean, we would meet for, 3 or 4 hours, every time we met, which was multiple times a week, because things just kept changing. And you guys didn't hear from us, but know that behind the scenes, we're working our butts off. And if you do know us, you know that we're very aggressive people. And the minute that something gets safe enough, we're going to jump on it and do it. The minute that there's a spring football game or there's a WGI season we can participate in, or anything that we can go for, that we're going to go for that. We're trying to do some other large projects that are kind of, I don't want to say outside the school day, but some recording projects to get large ensemble things back together so we can start to feel like we're doing things as a group again, even if this virtual environment does linger on and on. There's a lot going on right now with the band program behind the scenes. I've been running instruments to kids' houses a couple per week the last couple weeks, just people who something breaks or something, whatever. we've been trying to fill that gap as well. There's a lot of logistics to this. And again, the program we're running right now is different than we've run before. So give us a little patience, as I know you all have. We feel like we've been very supported by all of you guys so much, and I don't want to speak for everybody, but I feel very thankful that you are our community, because we feel like we have good partners going through all this stuff. So Mrs. Hoey's going to talk about instrument rental fees and money stuff. She gets stuck with that. So go ahead, Mrs. Hoey.
Yes, I'm the one that gets stuck with all of the paperwork. It's really funny at the end of the year when the students thank me for being the behind the scenes paperwork lady. It's like, thanks for being our band mom. You're welcome, guys. So I will talk about just a couple logistical things. Mr. Hoey talked about instruments. If you currently are using, or you or your child are using a Timber Creek owned instrument, generally that's going to be our larger instruments, percussion instruments at home. If you have any marching percussion or concert percussion at home, if you have tubas, baritones, mellophones, euphoniums, French horns, any of our large woodwinds. So if you have a Timber Creek instrument at home, there's two things that we need you to do. This has been sent out via email, but we'll go ahead and resend it again just in case you missed it. But those two things are, one, we need a rental form from you. Those of you who kept instruments and you had them from the spring, that's wonderful. We let you keep those instruments, but we do need a new rental form for this school year. And those of you who have new instruments from the summer, maybe you picked it up in the beginning of our summer institute, or you've been given an instrument this fall, we need to have a completed 2020 new instrument rental form. That instrument rental form this year is completely online. You are welcome to fill it out online virtually and email it back. You can scan it, sign it, send it back, or if you really need to, you could print it and bring it into school, bring it to the front office. That is okay as well, but you can do it completely virtually. So we need that form. The second thing we need is the instrument rental fee, and that helps us maintain our instruments. You heard Mr. Hoey, we've already had instruments that are in need of repair. We have to send them off to the repair shops. So the instrument rental fee helps us maintain our instruments, and we charge $75 per semester. So it's $150 for the year. And if you have any issues or problems at all with that fee, all you need to do is let me know. You can send me an email anytime if that fee is going to be an issue for you, or if that's going to hinder you from using your instrument, or if you feel like you're not able to pay that right now, just let me know. But we will ask for that if you're able to. And that's going to be through school pay. That link has been sent out via email as well, but we will resend that. So those two things are your form and the school pay payment. So both of those things are emailed, but we'll do it one more time. So that's that instrument rental. Now, if you do not have an instrument that is rented from the Timber Creek Band Program, that doesn't apply to you, so you're good to go. All right. One more thing, money-wise, I know that for all of our veteran band parents, those of you who have been with us for a year or more, this is a very light year for us financially, obviously. We have not asked for any payments as of yet. And we had mentioned earlier in the Summer Institute, when we still thought we might do band camp, we had asked for a $75 registration fee. We held off on that when we weren't sure that band camp was going to be occurring. And it was probably best that we did that at the time. So now, though, we have started to look at our budget for the fall and what we are doing. You heard Mr. Hoey talk about Smart Music. That's a program that we're going to purchase a account for each one of our students, all of our WIN students. It's really important that we have that account, and that's something that Dr. Paduano is going to approve for us, but we are going to purchase that for you, and that's going to be part of their participation fee. The staff members that you heard Mr. Hoey talk about, Mr. Trotto, the staff members that we're going to be using with your students, they're going to be working in small groups and maybe even one-on-one with your students virtually. Those staff members are going to be part of that budget as well. And then we are working on t-shirts, band shirts. And even though we're not doing our normal regiment season, it's really important for our band students to feel like they are part of our community. And part of that is wearing a regiment shirt. And so we're currently working on getting those shirts made and out to our students. So that's going to be also part of our participation fee. So the participation fee that we are going to require and ask of you, of all of our students, is going to be $75. That $75 is going to help us do those things that I just mentioned. And for right now, that's going to cover us in this first 9 weeks. We are going to reevaluate at the end of the first 9 weeks, and we will move forward from there on what we think we need in the future, depending on what's happening. So as of right now, that $75 fee is available to pay on school pay. The link is going to be sent out via email, and you'll be able to pay that whenever you're able to. And again, just like the instrument fee, if you have any issues at all with that payment, please let me know. We are very understanding, especially if you are on free reduced lunch. Please, please, please let us know, and we will do everything we can to work with you. In no way, shape, or form will we kick anyone out of the band program for non-payment, but that payment does help our band program significantly provide for your child and help us do the best we can. So that's all I have for money, and I'm going to hand it over to Mr. Cox, who's going to wrap up with our last few things.
Thank you, Mrs. Hoey. We want to talk about, we would imagine that many of you guys have seen in whether it's the news or through social media or whatever, kind of the football season as it relates to marching band or pep bands and so on and so forth. And I don't know that I would say that there's misinformation out there right now, but there's conflicting information, and you have different schools of thought on this and what people think should happen versus what is going to happen. Where, as far as the kind of the outlook in the future for the regiment for this year, we're still really honestly in a bit of a wait and see mode. There was a county band director Zoom meeting last night in which this topic was pretty much the primary topic that was discussed. And so, like Mr. Hoey was saying a few minutes ago, if it seems at times like we're a little bit more silent than, if you're new to the program, a little bit more silent than you might have expected, if you are a returning parent to the program, you would know that this is a lot more silent than we typically are. Again, it's because we're trying to make sure that we get information, and that what we can put to you is information that we feel pretty solid isn't going to change, and there just isn't much of that right now. You know, like just like we said, like the four of us meet a lot behind the scenes to try and get out ahead of the next thing on the calendar or what we think may happen. That's also going on at the county level for band directors. And we are in constant communication with each other about what are you hearing at your school? What is your principal saying? Where is your thought process on this? Where do you stand on this topic? Because we're trying to be as consistent with each other as we possibly can, knowing that not every situation is going to be the same from school to school for any number of reasons. So right now, we're really in a bit of a wait and see mode with what the future of things is going to look like. FHSA, the Florida High School Association, in their presentation 10 or 14 days ago, whenever that was, they were very, very clear. And some of you may have seen it, and I've looked at the document as well. And it at that time said there is to be no no band, no cheer, dance, ROTC, or majorettes at football games until fall 2021. Now, that's what the state level is saying. Now, I suppose the county could come in and possibly make a different decision, but there's nothing definitive yet. We know that there have been some parental, like in the community, and I don't mean the Timber Creek community, I mean in the county, really. There have been some parents who have requested that bands be allowed to participate. There would have to be a lot of social distancing. There would be a lot of logistical challenges we would have to figure out, in that sort of scenario. So we're not really sure just yet. And obviously, as we get information and concrete information, we will let you know. I do believe this, and the directors have been talking about this. As we come into the second week of October and we're getting into the second 9 weeks, we could see a scenario where we start to have some after school rehearsals with the students, where everybody's on the practice pad and we're socially distant from each other, and we're playing through some warm-ups together and some exercises and things, or, that we would get together and that we would rehearse with some future performance goal in mind, possibly, or just to play, just to get together and see each other from a little bit of a distance and play and do those kind of things. We absolutely see a scenario that as we kind of come around and we get out of the first 9 weeks and of our virtual curriculum that we're doing right now, that will certainly continue as long as it needs to continue. But we could see us adding that kind of component for our band program, where we would maybe meet after school. Maybe it's by band on a different day of the week, or maybe it's by section or something like that. But we miss the kids. Like, we miss them very, very much. The seniors last night, we had about 31 of the seniors who were available to come and do their band shirts that they would normally do during band camp. And it says like last day of band camp ever. And it's like this big rite of passage for our seniors. We had about 30 that were available to come up last night. We had them in the cafeteria and they were all kind of spread out and they all worked on their shirts for a couple of hours. We went out on the practice pad and we took a picture of everybody, and just being around them even though we didn't, you know, it was kind of weird because they were with masks and we weren't doing the things that we normally do, but being around your kids was awesome and it was amazing. So, and we missed that so much. So we want to get back to that when we can do that safely. So please know that we will continue to work towards those opportunities. And as we're giving clarity and greater clarity information, we'll be sure to pass that along to you. And like Mr. Hoey said, we'll be very aggressive once we get a solid green light that says, all right, it's safe, go do the thing. We're going to do it. I mean, and that's who we are. And that's what we love to do. That's why we're in this profession. Shockingly, we're not in this to do Zoom virtual meetings. You know, like this is just so weird. This is such a weird thing for us, right? So the last thing that I have is an update on the Washington, D.C. trip. If you are new to our program, the band was supposed to travel to Washington, D.C. last April. That trip got postponed because of the coronavirus situation. Was moved to March of this school year that we're in right now. And at the time when I rescheduled that, I was like, hey, March, no problem. Everything should be good by then. Yeah, that's not looking like that's probably going to be the case, right? So the people who were scheduled to go on the trip, which is a lot of the band program, some people have been asking about those dates. Are they still valid? We just made contact. The highlight of the trip is going to be a joint concert performance with the top U.S. Army band up in Washington, D.C. We heard from them yesterday that they are going to give us the flexibility to move the trip about 3 months later to make it as safe as we possibly can. And at that point, we'll be into June. But we want to make sure that this year's seniors have the opportunity to go on that trip. Last year's seniors lost the trip. We don't want to have this trip be lost by 2 different classes of students, if at all possible. So we are looking right now at a travel date, at a departure date of Thursday, June 10th. So this would be about 2 weeks after the school year is out. And then a return date of Monday, June the 14th. So it's June 10th through the 14th. The joint concert with the U.S. Army Band up in D.C. would be Sunday, June 13th. And those are the dates that we're working with right now. We already know our travel company is on board with it. They know that they can rebook hotels and those kind of things. If you are a freshman parent and you are new to the program and you are interested in your child being a part of that trip, we would love to have them. It is open to anybody and everybody in the band program that wants to go. I will share with everybody here soon the revised itinerary so that you can see what the band program is going to be doing up there, what the cost of the trip is. And if you're a freshman student, or if you're a student that was in the program last year and hadn't planned on going on the trip and you'd like to add in, you can certainly do that. So be looking for that information here soon, what the cost will be. Obviously, we're pushing it 3 months later so that we can get 3 months healthier, obviously, as a society, and hopefully have a vaccine fully integrated into our communities and be in much better shape by then. So that's the update on the DC trip. And we appreciate you guys listening to this meeting. We hope it's been informative. And on behalf of my esteemed colleagues, we thank you guys so much for listening, for being the unbelievably supportive, unbelievably amazing program that you are. We can't imagine being anywhere else. This is where we want to be. Maybe not quite in this format, but this is certainly these are people that we care so deeply about. You guys are awesome, and we just thank you guys for listening. And we look forward to seeing you again soon. We'll do another virtual version of these when we've got some updates on things. But take care. Thank you so much again. We hope that you have a continued great day, great week, and stay safe, please. All right. Love you guys. Miss you. Bye.
Bye.